It's Gypsy Man, and if I had known then what I know now. So, last year, I took upon myself to get to know and only compete with the 2011. This is my 2011. It's the only 2011 I have. This is the one I'm going to be using. So, I don't want to hear too many people saying you should have got this, you should have got that. I didn't get that. I got this for various reasons. Um, and previously, I was shooting with my modified Glock 34, all the work done by myself. And this year, I decided to start the year off with using the Glock. And, well, let me take that back. I started off my first competition with the 2011. And then I decided that I was starting to feel like I was in a dilemma. And the dilemma was, do I like shooting my 2011 more than I like shooting my Glock in competition? I've always felt like Glock is home for me. Glock is what I feel most comfortable with. Glock is what I wanted my 2011 to feel like. Through the journey that I had through last year's season, I've grown to very fond of the 2011. Things that the 2011 absolutely does better than the Glock is very minimum. And that is, and maybe it's because of the audio feedback you get, but I love the way it sounds when you reload. I do reload faster and more positive with my 2011 than I do with my Glock. I'm just as good with my Glock, but it's something about those metal mags that I love, okay? The other thing that, and both guns have been modified. I've modified both of them myself. You see that I have the extended slide release, which is mandatory for what I'm doing with the gun. I also have a light spring for the mag release. I've never had a problem. I never had an accidental mag release lightening up this mag spring. And that changed the game for the reloads. They were very fast, no fatigue on the thumb, and it just made the gun feel better to me. Now the Glock, just as fast, but it's something about that metal, it just comes out faster than the polymer. The thing that I noticed for the model that I have of the 2011 is that I do like the straight back trigger, although the Glock trigger, the hinge trigger, I'm gonna tell you right now, I shoot better with my Glock. I'm gonna tell you that off the top. But I do like the fact that this trigger goes straight back. It gives you the sense that if targets were further away, you'll be able to hit them without moving the gun by putting input onto the trigger. It makes you feel that way. But if you can shoot, you're going to still hit it with your Glock hinge trigger. But it may have an advantage in that place. A lot of people like it because of that reason. I can't say that I can say with absolute that I prefer one trigger over the other. I can manipulate both of them very well. Now, the way I have my gun set up, my Glock shoots flatter than my 2011, and the weight doesn't matter. It's the way that I have this set up that it just, and this is just from looking at the feedback and feel of the dot, right? The dot hardly moves when I shoot with this one for sure. It moves with this one slightly more, but stays in the window. I do like the weight on this gun, okay? This gun feels faster to move around, faster to take out of the holster. But the weight for somebody with my size and strength, it just feels very good in the hand and balanced with that weight. But this is more agile for sure. I like when you're standing still that you can pick up the dot. I don't want to say faster. I want to say more natural with the 2011. I could pick up the dot with the Glock the same, but you will feel the difference in the grip angle. Now, when I'm shooting more aggressive and on the move, this is what's funny. I pick up the Glock dot faster than I pick up the 2011 Glock. So there's a lot of phenomenon going on, right? I don't know if it's just the angles that the body is in when you're being more aggressive when shooting, which also may go into the theory behind the Glock angle, grip angle. Maybe they had that in mind when they were designing this gun, but this one definitely feels more aggressive than this gun. The other things that I will tell you is that I shoot 124 grain out of the heavier slide of the 2011, and I feel comfortable shooting both grains with the Glock. It will eat up whatever you put in it, but the 2011, I feel, and it just might be coincidence, that the 124 is a better coming out of the heavier gun. You can see I have a larger mag well. Love reloading this gun. That sound, you can't duplicate that with a Glock. It's very positive. What else? What else? I pretty much was on a journey to set this gun up to feel like my Glock. So I shot a competition last week with my Glock, and it felt incredible. I don't know if it's just because, I've been away from home and came back home for the competition, but it felt incredible. So I think I'm going to continue. In my head, I would say if I'm going for the win, I'm going to use my Glock. If I'm going to get more acclimated with the 2011, because there's a learning curve. If you buy a 2011, you're just not going to pick it up and shoot better than whatever you were shooting with. There's a learning curve to this. It's a great learning curve depending on how you have your gun set up. So have that in mind if you consider buying these guns. I have the same optic on both of them. So, I'm not going to, that has it makes no difference in how things are going with the guns because of the different optics. So I took that variable out of it. But just wanted to talk about that just a little bit because it's just something that was on my mind. Just a short video. And, I'm a Glocker. I definitely appreciate my 2011. They both go with me to competitions. I enjoy both of them. I love both of them. But I have to say that my Glock it came for the win. I'm doing just as good with the 2011. We can definitely go. But I just noticed that just last week the Glock was just feeling real good, and it was a very aggressive stages. Basically, all the stages were aggressive, and the Glock was just right there. Never lost a dot. I have lost a dot in competition with this gun, but that was probably my fault, not the gun. Matter of fact, everything that happens that's a fault is probably my fault. My guns, they feed. Never had malfunctions with neither one of them in competition. They're very reliable. But if I had to go into combat, I'm going to take the Glock. So quick video, Gypsy Man, and I'm out.